Coruscant is the advanced city planet in the core worlds of the galaxy, which we were first introduced to in the prequel trilogy. While the planet isn't particularly known for its wildlife, there are multiple interesting creatures that reside on the planet. So today, I'm giving these creatures the spotlight, because who cares about all that cool city stuff? I hope you enjoy. First up is Joracrete slugs. Joracrete slugs, also known as Jora slugs, were a non-sentient species of slugs which lived in the Coruscant underworld. They fed on Joracrete, a synthetic stone product which was used to make buildings, digested it, and then secreted it to form a hard outer shell which protected their softer bodies inside. They had tan skin, mouth parts with power mandibles and mouth tentacles for sensing surroundings, black eyes, which were quite rubbish really as they were underdeveloped, leaving the creatures blind, and spiked ridges that spanned from mouth to tail. They were 3 to 5 meters, or around 10 to 16 feet long on average, but could reach a maximum length of 10 meters, or around 33 feet long. They could generally be found in the lowest levels or foundation of a building, and could cause permanent damage to a large building within a few weeks. They were also edible. At first they were eaten in the Coruscant underworld out of necessity, but the upper levels heard of this and decided to eat Joracrete slugs as well, leading to food such as Joraslug rolls. Yum. Next is conduit worms. Conduit worms were a non-sentient species of parasitic worms. They had grey and brown skin, eye threads with black eyes, feeler threads, mouth cups which often grew on the ends of their feelers, resistor segments, and capacitor beads to store energy. They could reach impressive lengths of hundreds of meters. They didn't have discernible head, body, or tail structures, instead growing along electrical conduits, absorbing components such as batteries and turning them into organs. They infested electrical power cable wiring in the Coruscant underworld and fed off of the electricity from buildings and starships. They were also known to sneak aboard starships and eat the wiring mid-flight. And I saved the craziest fact for last. I kid you not, when hungry they could attempt to burrow into a humanoid's head through their ears to feed off of the electrical impulses in their brain. That's horrifying. Now I'm looking at stone mites. Stone mites were a non-sentient species of insects. They most often came in threes, fused together, sharing one central shell. This shell was almost indestructible and had a hard metallic exoskeleton. Each mite's head would stick out of a different corner of the shell, and each mite also had a feeler tail, capable of giving an electric shock, and able to aid in balancing, which stuck out between the corners of the shell. The heads of mites had a gripping mandible on each side, and 2 smaller jaws at the front that emitted corrosive acid. This acid was used along with their strong jaws to feed on metals, stone, and less commonly silicates, before absorbing them into their systems. They were willing to feed on materials from buildings and starships, similar to conduit worms, and they were also just as destructive as conduit worms. They also had pincers which could hold onto the hulls of starships. From here they'd use their acidic saliva to eat through the ship. Next is tucas. Tucas, also known as tuca cats, or Adoris felines, were a subspecies of feline cats. They had fur which could be violet, greenish-blue, yellow, dark yellow, fawn, brown, deep purple, and blue-grey. A flat face with a slightly protruding muzzle, slit nostrils, grey or black eyes, large long mouths with sharp teeth inside, pointy ears, legs and paws reminiscent of birds, and fat bushy tails. They were popular pets as they ate many unwanted pests, but they could be a nuisance themselves. They resided on a lot of planets in the galaxy, but the ones on Coruscant are known to have hunted and eaten Nooners. Now I'm looking at Nooners. Nooners, also known as swamp turkeys, were an omnivorous species of flightless birds. They had green skin, white eyes, could have blue and red feathers, were on average 0.5 meters or 1.6 feet tall, and, when threatened or provoked, could inflate their bodies. They were also used as a ball in the sport Nooner ball. Nooners ate plants and occasionally fish. They were known for being stupid, but were easy to care for and adaptable, which is likely why they could be found in such a variety of places. They had spread across the galaxy for their prized meat and eggs, with one Nooner being enough to feed a family of 4. 2 meals that they could be cooked into were Nooner turkey jerky and roast Nooner. Next is picker bees. Picker bees were a non-sentient carnivorous species of reptavians, meaning that they had both reptilian and avian traits. They were regarded as an intelligent species because they were able to walk and swim upon hatching from their egg. They ate smaller creatures, being able to eat tinier critters in one gulp. They usually travelled in groups of 5 or 6. Although this video is about Coruscant, picker bees could also be found on Dagobah, Lothal, Onderon, and their homeworld of Naboo. Now I'm looking at granite slugs. Granite slugs were a small species of slug that ate mineral matter. The way they did this was by excreting acidic saliva as they moved across the surface of buildings and eating the slime left behind with their 2 mouths. This process would leave rune-like scars on the duracrete of the buildings. Also, they were at the bottom of the food chain on Coruscant. Next is corridor ghouls. Corridor ghouls lived in sewers in the Coruscant underworld and were aggressive against people. They had white skin, red eyes, and sharp teeth. Now I'm looking at crownfinches and song sparrows. Crownfinches and song sparrows were birds which could be found at the top of Coruscant. One place they were known to go is the Jedi Temple. Finally, there's weevils, which nothing is really known about. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this dive into the creatures of Coruscant, and we hope to see you later at Vault Holocron.